Opposition Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. I rise to ask a series of questions to the Prime Minister. Mr. Acting Speaker, recently there has been so much news going around the country that has raised a lot of uncertainties and questions, speculations in the minds of our people that there was a warrant of arrest issued for the Prime Minister. The news came out also that the Prime Minister had used police to prevent police officers from serving the arrest warrant on him. Mr. Acting Speaker, we have read the Minister for Internal Security and the Commissioner of Police coming out in the mainstream media saying that this was fake news. Mr. Acting Speaker, that is the problem. They both did not sound convincing. And that is why, through you, Mr. Acting Speaker, I would like to ask Prime Minister to come out and clear the air on this matter.
Opposition Leader, we have a point of order.
Point of order is, Mr. Acting Speaker, the Prime Minister is not the Minister of Police. He is the Prime Minister of the country, and if he is a subject of a complaint, only the Minister who is running the law enforcement can answer this question. You cannot ask a person who is a subject of an inquiry to answer a question. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Honorable Minister, I think your point of order is in order, but the question has already been asked to the Prime Minister, so I will allow the Opposition Leader to continue asking your question.
A series of questions, Mr. Acting Speaker, through you. Prime Minister, can you deny or confirm that there was indeed a warrant issued for your arrest? Question 2, if indeed there was, why did you not make yourself available to be questioned by the police rather than use the privileges of that office to prevent being served the warrant of arrest or towards such effects? Question 3, Mr. Acting Speaker, at this time, where there are...
We have a point of order, another point of order. Honorable Member, what's your point of order?
These questions are very speculative. They are not facts. We've got no facts here. We're just speculating questions, and I think that question is out of order.
Honorable Member, I think the question is asked to the Prime Minister. I will ask.
It's a social media question. I was discussing social media in Parliament now. Only the House of the
The Prime Minister, the question is asked to the Prime Minister in regard, and the Prime Minister will respond as what you have raised. The Prime Minister will respond in that regard, and Prime Minister have shown indication to answer the question. So I'll allow the Opposition Leader to continue his question.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. At this time where there are a lot of speculation on this matter...
We have another point of order.
It's a very, very serious question. You're making speculations to the Prime Minister. This is the people's house. You must have facts to prove it. You cannot just make a statement or questions. If you have a letter from the Police Commissioner of Police, you show it to us and we must hit.
Honorable,
this speculations is not on.
Honorable Minister, I think I have responded the same point of order you have raised. The other members also raised the same point of order. I've repeated myself that the Prime Minister will respond in regard to that, as you have said, that the Prime Minister saw an indication to answer the question. Therefore, I allow the Opposition Leader to complete the question and let the Prime Minister respond.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. The whole purpose of me asking this question is so that the Prime Minister can clear the air on this issue.
Honorable Minister for Planning, what's your point of order again?
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. I think per our standing orders, you cannot ask questions that are assumptions, insinuations on the floor. Question must be grounded on fact or some form of concrete fact that is currently happening. With respect to what the Prime Minister is saying in terms of responding to the question, if we open up a trend like this, every time we'll be asking questions on the floor, every time someone raises something on Facebook, Mr. Speaker. It's speculation. Mr. Speaker, I need you to make a ruling.
Honourable members, since then we have much point of order raised in regarding to the question. The opposition leader, I will ask you to rephrase your question, and I will allow you to ask, and we will seek further advice on the point of order being raised, and we can advise you if I can allow you in the next day of question time to raise your question. Therefore, I will stop you from asking the question. I will move on to the question. The Honourable Governor for Enga.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.
I know you made a ruling, and you asked also for him to rephrase the question. The Prime Minister's office is a very important office.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister is the chief diplomat of this country. The Prime Minister is the chief representation of this country. And there must not be any shade of doubt on the conduct of the Prime Minister. If I may, through you, ask that the opposition leader rephrase his question, ask, and I could respond so that the country is absolutely clear on matters surrounding. We cannot, now that he's opened, he's made some question or words already that has come out, we're leaving it to the scrutiny of this country. And it's not only us members of parliament, but the entire country and the world is observant to this. You need to give stability to the leadership and those who hold this office. And so I just want to ask the opposition leader through you to rephrase his question. And as to me, I will respond. Mr. Deputy Speaker, if that could be transacted today, it is important the world and the country hears this. Thank you.
Honourable Prime Minister, your point of order is in order, as I've made a ruling, and that I've asked the opposition leader to rephrase the question, and he can ask the question again so that you can respond. The Honourable Governor for Enga. Okay, Honourable Governor, I'm sorry, I will ask you to resume your seat. I will then ask the Leader of Opposition to rephrase your question in accordance to the statement made by the Prime Minister, so that he can clear the air on the question that you raised.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. This is a simple matter. We are hearing a lot of things, and I think it's proper that the Prime Minister must come out and clear the air so that we know exactly what is going on. Thank you.
Minister.
All right, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I just want to appreciate the question as well as the diffs on the government side, but this is nothing to do with James Marape as a person. This is the office of Prime Minister that has been brought into the spotlight and under scrutiny. I want to assure our country that, for instance, in the conversation on the warrant of arrest, anyone can go to the court registry for the last how many years now? 17 going 18 years I've been a member of parliament. There's never been a warrant of arrest issued by the magistrate or any magistrates for the arrest of James Marape up till today. It's a public record. Warrants are issued by the magistrate court, and the district court has not issued any warrant to date. I want to assure this country, your Prime Minister has nothing in respect to breach of law to be worried about. There is no added layer of police cover on my part. in case someone wants to play politics in this matter, not from the leader of the opposition's office, but speculations that continue to proliferate in the public space. I just want to advise the country, the Prime Minister is the chief diplomat of this country. The Prime Minister and the occupant of the Prime Minister's office promotes the country, sells the country, and any inferences or labeling on the office taints the country's reputation also in the context. That is why I was willing to take the call. Standing order, Mr. Deputy Speaker, standing order clearly states, and I forgot to make reference to the exact provision of the standing orders, but matters relating to court or perceived court, inferences, assumptions, etc., should not be raised on the floor of Parliament. That's standing order. And I think this Parliament must be made sure to understand that when you bring a matter before Parliament, it must be substantially, it's a matter of substance, and you ask a question on the floor of Parliament. But I was pleased because it's a matter in public debate. The opposition leader had to do his job, ask a question, and I had to do my job to reply. That the office of the Prime Minister is not brought into question. There's no warrant of arrest from my search in the court registries based on the social media spins that does get on in our public spaces. So to our investors, to our citizens of this country, and to everyone concerned, including all of us here in this House, there is no warrant of arrest on the Prime Minister. And, Prime Minister, all of us are subject to the laws of this land. If there is one on such, then we will make a response in the due process. So I just want to give clarity to everyone. No warrant of arrest made on the Prime Minister. We keep on seeing many, many negative spins in the public space. We are working towards public conversation accountability, whether it's in social media or whether it's in the media proper. That will be stepped up from a government perspective. But I want to ask every one of us, let us be conscious of what we write in the public space. There might be many, many false and negative spin in the public space. Some of the court cases that reference have been made, or some of the public corruption issues that reference have been made, James Marape as a person have been state witnesses since 2013. As Finance Minister, I've been state witness. As Prime Minister up front, I've been Commissioner of Inquiry that I've set, for instance, in the UBS inquiry. And if I have something to hide, I will not set up the inquiry. Simple as that. Simple as that. I want to get into the bottom of corruption matters in some of a big case that is outstanding. And people who know that they have everything to lose, including businesses, are creating fires elsewhere as a covert decoy to the main issue. And Mr. Speaker, I want to press on you. Police, without announcing everyone, are waking up on the corruption matters before us. There's in police files, the Commissioner of Inquiry that we've staged. We have engaged lawyers now that are looking at making restitution claims. The file now being worked upon to some on UBS Bank, some on oil sets, as it was before, and some on major players in the UBS transaction. Unfortunately for my oppositions, James Marape is a witness in the entire matter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.